Istongo, Moment Edwin Marshall Joseph Karos. Hianagi Hijiskat, Muskogee, Imobanaga, Ohayas, Moment Ohagidis can Gomirundos. How are you? My name is Edwin Marshall, and welcome to Learning the Muskogee Language.
Learning the Muskogee Language, brought to you by the Red Stick Warrior Association.
In this segment, we're going to elaborate on something that I talked about in the first lesson, and that was the sounds that the various alphabet or characters make in the Muskogee alphabet. And before we do, I'm going to rehash, or I'm going to go back over the Muskogee alphabet for you and the pronunciation as it's recited. And as you'll look on the camera and follow along, we'll show you each alphabet. A, Chi, E, Fi, He, A, Ki, Li, Mi, Ni, O, Pi, Li, Si, Di, U, We, Yi. As in the English alphabet, the various characters make different sounds. For example, in the English alphabet, let's talk about the vowels first of all. English vowels may be pronounced differently according to the word in which it's used. For example, in the English alphabet, the vowel A can make a sound, such as in lay, or it can make a ah sound, such as in law, or it can make a short a sound, such as in lad or a. That's a, ah, a. The letter E can make a long sound, such as in T, or the short sound as in text. The letter I can make what is called a long sound, such as in pie, or a short sound, such as in pick. That's I and I, the two different sounds that it makes. The letter O can make a long sound, such as in roll, or it can make a short sound, such as in rob. Ah, O and ah. And finally, the letter U can make the long sound, such as in rude, or the short sound, such as in rub, which is oo and Conversely, the vowels in the Muskogee will always make the same sound. For example, ah, the vowel ah always makes a sound ah, such as in ayo. The letter E always makes the E sound, such as in weasel. And when I say conversely, I'm talking about in the English alphabet, the letter A makes a, ah, and a sound. But in the Muskogee alphabet, ah, it's always ayo, or ah as in ayo. The letter E always makes the long E sound, such as in weasel. The letter A, if you'll notice that it has a little different pronunciation than in the English alphabet. We say A, and it always makes the same sound as in legida. O never makes a short ah sound. It always makes a long sound as O as in wotko. And the letter U always makes oo sound as in totkuji. English consonants, and once again, as I mentioned earlier, English vowels, they can have varying sounds such as a, ah, e, I, and so forth. But I want to highlight that once again. Muskogee vowels, they always make the same sound, ah, e, a, o, u. English consonants have some variation in the pronunciation of its consonants as well. For example, and not always, but in many, the letter B in the English consonants has no variation. It always makes a B sound or a B sound. The letter C can have two different sounds. You've seen it used, for example, in the word scent to sound like an S, or in the word crack to sound like a K. And essentially the letter C in the English alphabet doesn't have its own sound. It either emulates the S sound or the K sound. The letter D in the English consonants has no variation. It always makes the D sound, such as in dog. The letter F has two different sounds. For example, I call those soft and hard sounds. The word wreath, which is a soft F, or in the word of, sounds like a V, but those are made from the letter F. In the English G, it also has two sounds, a hard sound and a soft sound. The hard sound being G as in get, or J as in rage. You know, when I was a kid, I always wondered, why do they use a G to make a J sound when it's already got a J? Why didn't they use a J? But anyway, the letter H has essentially, can be used in two different ways. It only has one sound, and that's has as in has, H as in has rather, or it can be silent at the end of a word. For example, the word ah. You can't hear the H, just ah. The letter J has no variation. It always makes the J sound, except I think it's silent in the word hallelujah. It kind of sounds like a Y, but essentially the word J makes the J sound. The letter K has no variation in the English alphabet. It always makes the K sound. The letter L has no variation. It always makes the lip sound. The letter M has no variation. It sounds like an M all the time. M as in mud. And the letter N has no variation. It's always used and it makes the same sound, such as in nap. The letter P, used by itself, always makes the P sound, but when combined with an H, it can sound like an F. A P and an H sound like an F. And once again, that's one of those questions that I've always asked myself. Why do they use a P and an H when they could just use the letter F? But regardless, it's combined with H sometimes in words such as phonics or alphabet. The letter Q is always combined with U to form the KW sound, such as quick. Quick is spelled Q-U-I-C-K. And once again, those questions, why didn't they spell it K-W-I-C-K? But it's spelled Q-U-I-C-K, and it makes the KW sound. It's silent in some words, such as in the word plaque. Actually the Q is not silent, but it sounds like a K. The letter R has no variation. It always makes the or R sound. The letter S. The letter S can make a soft sound, such as in the word sand, or make a hard sound, such as in the word has, H-A-S. And it may be combined with H in words such as push or shove. The letter T and I call these words that can be consonants that can be used to make two different sounds. I call those variable consonants. And the letter T can be used in a soft form to form the words team, or it can make the hard sound like a D, such as in the word later. The letter V has no variation. It always makes the V sound, such as in vast. Now you got to remember, in the Muskogee alphabet, there is no letter V because I'll explain that in a little bit. In the English W, it always makes the W sound, such as in win, but it may be combined with H in words such as wheel. The letter Y always makes the Y sound, such as in yellow, but sometimes it's used at the end of a word and it's silent, such as in May. Those are the English consonants, B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, and Y. And those words, some of them are what I call variable. They can make different sounds, or non-variable. They only make one sound. Muskogee consonants have fewer characters, and they vary only to create a soft or hard sound of the same consonant. When I say that they have fewer characters, because sometimes they use the same character to make two different sounds. And as I mentioned a while ago, why is there a letter C in the English consonants when either it makes a S or a K sound? It doesn't make any sense to have a letter that doesn't have its own sound. But Muskogee consonants have fewer characters. There are 13 characters in the Muskogee consonants, and I believe there's 18 in the English consonants. But we're going to go over those right now. Muskogee consonants have fewer characters, and they vary only to create a soft or hard sound of the same consonant. For example, and we'll go over this list, starting with chi. Chi makes a hard or soft sound. As used, for example, the word chiajigo, and that means, do you not want it? And in the very first of the sentence it says ch, a soft sound, and later on it says chiajigo. It makes a hard sound like a J. So that letter chi, cha, or rather, what is it? Chi. It can sound like ch or j. The letter phi has a soft and a hard sound as well, such as in the word figi. It's a soft sound, but it's used in the word tava to make a hard sound like a V. The letter he has no variable. It always makes the breathy he sound, such as in hutpi. The letter ki it's a variable. It has two sounds like either k or g, ki or gi, kuwegi. In the word kuwegi, which means quail, it's used at the front of the word in a soft form and says kuwegi, and later on it makes a hard sound. The letter li has no variable. It always makes the same sound, la, li. The letter mi has no variable, always makes the sound m, mi. The letter ni has no variable. It always makes the n sound, ni. The letter p is a variable. It makes two sounds, a soft sound and a hard sound. It can either sound like soft P, such as in pabida, and it can sound like a B, a hard sound, later in that same word. The letter C actually that's a very unique letter, and I want to stop here just for a moment and talk about that consonant. That consonant, the sound of that consonant, or the sound of that consonant anywhere is not in the Muskogee language. There are no words that have that sound of the consonant "li" in there. And the way that you make that sound, and it's a trained sound, unless you were born into the culture and you knew the language from the time you were born, you have to learn that sound and how to make that sound. It sounds much like the combination of T and H, th, as in think. However, in the Muskogee li, you make the sound just a little different. In the English sound of TH in think, you put your tongue on the bottom of your front teeth, th, and you let the sound out off the top of your lip, th, to make that TH sound. It can have a soft sound such as in think, or it can have a hard sound such as in other, th or the. By the same way, the letter li in the Muskogee language, you make that sound just a little bit different. Instead of putting the tongue on the top teeth, on the bottom of the top teeth, th. You put your tongue on the roof of your mouth and let the air out of the sides of your tongue. See. Not on your teeth, but on the roof of your mouth, and let the air out of the sides of your tongue. See. I know it's a little awkward, but it's something that you have to do. You have to train yourself, and you have to continue to practice. The word that we used for an example in that has a hard and a soft sound. Shallo. When it's used at the front of the word, it makes a soft sound. Sha. But in the middle of the word, shallo, which means fish, by the way. The next letter, C, makes a soft sound like an S, C, or like a Z. That's why there is no Z in the Muskogee consonant, because S covers both sounds. And in the word sazigo, you notice that at the front it's used to make the soft sound, S, but in the middle of the word it makes the hard sound, Z, sazigo. The next letter is D, and it makes a soft sound like a T, D, or it makes a hard sound like a D. Dawadi, the word dawadi, in the front of the word it makes a soft sound. In the middle of the word it makes a hard sound, dawadi. The letter we has no, in the Muskogee letter we has no variable. It always makes the w sound like a W. Wasco. And finally, the letter ye also has no variable. It always makes the Y sound as in hayomad. Hayomad. Now, as you look, as I said these words and I went through these words, you notice that some of these words sounded soft, or the consonants rather sounded soft, and some of them sounded hard. Why? Or what are the rules for that dictate when it's to sound soft or when it sounds hard? Here are the rules that apply in the pronunciation of consonants. And as I mention these rules, look at the words that I just went over, for example. When the first letter of a word is a consonant, it makes the soft sound. Look at the previous list. Any of these words that begin in a consonant, which is essentially all of them, when the consonant begins the word, it makes a soft sound. Let's use the word babida. P, the consonant P. When it's used in that rule, the first letter of the word is a consonant, it makes a soft sound always. So that word is a good example, babida. The next rule, when two variable consonants, and please understand what I mean by variable. Variable are the consonants that can make two different sounds, a hard sound or a soft sound, such as C, which is S or Z. Let's use that for example. When two variable consonants are placed together, two different variable consonants, they make a soft sound. Let me explain that. When two variable consonants, that's two consonants that can make a hard or soft sound. If they are different consonants and not the same consonant, when they're placed together, they both make the soft sound. The example that I have is the word wasco, which in the previous list actually means, or in our alphabet means chigger. You see the S and the K that's underlined there? They both make the soft sound because they're placed together. Wasco. The next rule, when two identical consonants appear side by side, they always make the soft sound. The word that I used for an example is poco. Take any of these words that I used in the previous list as examples and look, and if they're variable consonants, and you put two of them together, they'll always make the soft sound. Poco, two K's together. If there had only been one K there, the word would have said pogo, but there is no such word as pogo. So that's why they put those two K's together to say poco, poco. I'm going to expand on that a little bit. Think about the word for mouse or rat, chissy, chissy. The way you spell that is C-E and not just one S, because if you only have one S, it would be chizzy. Since there's two S's, it makes a soft sound and says chissy. That's C-E-S-S-E, chissy, means mouse. When a single consonant appears between two vowels, it always makes the hard sound. Let's look at our previous list there and look at the word for tawadi, T, under the letter T on the previous list, the word tawadi, which means my goodness or oh darn, it's an exclamation, tawadi. You notice that the first use of the letter is soft, t, tawadi, but in the second use it sounds like a D, tawadi. And that's what rule covers that. When a single consonant appears between two vowels, and in that word, tawadi, the last D appears between a and a E, which are two vowels. It always makes a hard sound. I've got an example there of the word hovey, hovey. See how that fee sounds like a V? Hovey. I know that that's a lot of information to cover, and I think that it's important that you get study this, because this is going to determine when you read the pronunciation of what you're reading. I know that so many of my students sometimes when they look at, I use phonetics a lot, they're able to figure out by the phonetics that I use how a word is supposed to sound by the way it's spelled. But essentially, if you will look at these rules and for using consonants, or rather the alphabets, remember that Muskogee vowels always make the same sound, always. They don't vary. English vowels vary. Muskogee vowels never vary. It's the Muskogee consonant that makes several different sounds, and but those are the rules for the use of the Muskogee alphabet. And that's it for this segment. We'll be back with the next segment, and we'll talk about practical use of our language. We'll see you then. Thank you.